Today we're going to talk about setting tabs in Microsoft Word. Setting tabs is something that's pretty easy to do. What you're working with is the alignment of text within a document, so that you are sure that things align rather than just worried about spacing, and it kind of saves time for you to do this. So the first thing that I want you to look at is I have a document on the screen that I have already set some tabs in, but we're going to go ahead and create this file from scratch. It's not uncommon to find a document that you like and you like how things are aligned, and so tabs will just save you some time with that. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that if you do not have your ruler appearing, that you go to the View tab and you click on Ruler. After you've done that, you can go back to the Home tab if you want. Remember, we talked over in the left-hand corner of your screen, you have this little L. When I hover over it, the screen tip says Left tab, and that is your alignment button. And so as you toggle through that alignment button, your tab stops will change. So if I click on it one time, it becomes a center tab, so it's an upside down T. That means that the text will start in the center and then move out to the left and right as you type. Then if you toggle again, it becomes a right tab, so that means everything would be aligned on the right. Another toggle shows you a decimal point, so that will line up all of the decimals no matter what your numbers are. And then the final one is called a bar tab, and that's what puts the line in the document that you can see before you. And then if you toggle through it again, you're going to get your indent markers. And so we're not going to worry about indents with this assignment. We're going to work with tab stops. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new file that we are able to work with. So in the text that I saw, it started out with name, program, and phone number. When we take a look at that document, we need to decide how are things aligned. Well, as I look at my text here, it's aligned on the left. This one looks like it's aligned in the center, or well, it's aligned on the left. And then over here, it's aligned on the right. And so I want to duplicate that. So I'm going to go back to my blank document, and I need to set those tab stops. So I'm going to kind of eyeball where I think that they belong. As I look at that, you want to make sure that if you set a tab, you use the tab. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball where I believe that those tab stops are. I'm going to do a left tab because we said they were all left. So all I have to do is come over here on my ruler and click about where I think that tab stop is, and you can see that it puts the tab stop marker in there. I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball, like I said, where I think that they belong. Let me peek one more time. I think this one was... We'll do left, left, and left. They're all left aligned tabs. So if I set a tab, I need to use a tab. So I press the tab key and then I type that information. So you'll notice that everything is left aligned. If you turn on your Show Hide button under the paragraph marker, you can see where the tabs were set. So when I say I set a tab, I need to use the tab. I press tab, I didn't start typing in the margin. So you'll notice that these tabs are spaced out differently because it's just using the amount of space it needs to make sure that things are aligned. So the Show Hide button is something that's really good to use when you're doing your tabs. When I look at this, I see like more space here than I see here. I don't want to have to type everything all over again. I can adjust them as a group. So I can highlight my whole group and I can go to the tab marker where I think I have an issue and I just drag it and it moves that whole grouping so I don't have to type it again. That's probably the easiest way to go in and make those adjustments. And again, you're eyeballing just so things are close. So when you're done adjusting your group, then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of the last entry and we're going to press enter 3 times. And then we need to clear the tab stops because as we look at the document, we need to type other information in there. So we need to be able to type this information and it's not aligned the same as this. So I'm going to go back to my Word document and I'm going to clear the tabs. I'm just going to left click on a marker and drag it down into the white space. And now I can set my new tabs. So as I look at my document, I can see that I have a left tab, I have a center tab, and I have a right tab. And that's where the text is aligned. So I simply go in and I set my tabs where I think that they should be. So I'm going to guess my left about here. Then I'm going to toggle my marker to a center and choose center, and then toggle my marker to a right and align the right about here. And then I'm going to press tab and type my information. Okay, so I can see by my tab markers where things are. Do I think that they're aligned close to this document? Looks to me like maybe this should be out farther. So I can just go back to my Word document and select my entire grouping and then go ahead and move that marker out just a little bit in terms of alignment. Then I might adjust my center one too. So again, press tab 3 times. And then if you want to see that, if you turn on your show hide, you can see how it's putting the space in between. 3 or 4 times works. Then go ahead and get rid of your tab markers. We'll drag them into the white space and we're ready for our next grouping. We're going to notice that the third grouping has a line in between. So that uses the bar tab. So we need to left align, and choose a bar tab. So I will just go ahead and I'm going to do my left align marker. So I have to toggle it till I get the left marker and choose about where I want it to be. I'm going to set both of my left markers first, and then I'm going to toggle to the bar and then choose the bar tab. One thing to point out, if you toggle fast, you might skip one of your markers, so you'll just have to toggle back through them again. Okay, so I'll type the information. Notice how it puts that bar in there. Okay, so I have that set. With this, I need to press enter 1 time. Notice how that bar keeps going down your screen. And after the 1 time, I need to clear those markers so that it gets rid of that line and it doesn't continue down through the rest of the page. Then I can press enter 2 more times and I'm ready to type my next grouping. So as we take a look at the fourth grouping, we can see that we have these dots in here. Now, they did not go in and press ... to get those to align. They are called leaders. So we are going to do a left align and we're going to do a right align here because if we had like the number 10 or the number 100, we would want the numbers aligned on the right side. So I will go ahead and go back to my document. And this time, I'm going to take you into the tabs dialog box. So the only way to get there is if you click on the paragraph dialog box launcher Down on the left, it says tabs, and then you can set your tab stops here. So here you can be more precise. So I could say I want a 1.25, whoops, sorry, 1.25 left tab, and then I'm going to set that. Then I'm going to set like a 5.25, but I want it to be right, and I want a dot leader. So you have 4 types of leaders. You have none, you have dots, you have dashes, and you have solid lines. And so we're going to choose the dot leader. Remember, leader comes before. So I wouldn't set the leader on 1.25, or the dots would shoot out to the left of that. I want them to come before the 5.25 so that it's in between my text. So it's really important that each time you set those, you click on set, and then I choose OK. So now if I press tab and press tab again, there's my dot leader. And then I press tab, there's my dot leader. So what I meant by if I had like an 80 or a 100, it would keep them aligned to the right. So again, if I think they need to be adjusted a little bit, I can go back in, highlight those, adjust them out. And then I can go ahead and press my enter 3 times, clear those tab stops. Another way to clear your tab stops is to do it through the dialog box. So if I go back to that tabs dialog box, a couple of things to point out. Number 1, tabs are set every 1/2 inch by default. Your alignment, so left, center, right, decimal, bar, you can do all of that from here, just like you can from your alignment marker. And then again, the 4 types of leaders, none, dots, dashes, or lines. And so you see that you have clear. I could highlight one tab stop and click clear, and it would delete that one. Or if I wanted to delete them all, then I just click on clear all and it deletes all of them. So some people are more comfortable working in the dialog box than they are with the ruler. You can actually get to the dialog box if you double click on the on a marker. Let me go to the marker. If I double click on this left marker, the dialog box will appear. And so I could go in here and clear them all if I wanted to. Okay, so let's get back to the last grouping that we have that looks just a little bit challenging for us. So the last grouping has lines, and so the lines come before. We kind of have to think about how that's going to show up. So it looks like I have a tab stop here, and here, and here. So actually I have 6 of them in this line. We have to set a tab stop here because otherwise when we'd press tab with this leader, it would shoot all the way out to the margin. And so we just kind of eyeball where we want those tabs to be and try to be consistent with it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my document, and we are going to go ahead and set those tab stops. I'm actually going to use the dialog box for this because it'll be a little easier. So I'm going to set one at 1 inch. We'll do left and set. I'm going to set one at 1.5, and we'll do left with a line leader so it shoots that line out and set. And then I'm going to do the next one at a 2 and left and set. So now I want to duplicate that on the other side of my page. So I'm going to do like a 4 left set, 4.5 left with a line leader and set, and then I'll do a 5. And we may have to adjust those. We'll do left and set. Okay, so I press tab, 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 and type the name. Tab, 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 and type the name. Okay, so that's how you set your tabs in Microsoft Word.